Hello everyone, Mighty Benaya here, and today I have a little bit of a special video. Today I'm going to be talking about the meta snapshot, what the meta looks like today, what you can do to be better at the game, what kind of path you need to take. In addition to my thoughts on what Bytro can do to expand that meta and make more diverse gameplay, different things that I think would introduce a lot more fun into the game than we're seeing right now. And not that I don't think that the game is fun. I think that it's a blast to play. But there's really one good way to play, and I think that a couple of minor edits can make the game more enjoyable to play in different ways, and I think that that is healthy. So this is a game that I started about 10 days ago, and as you can see, I'm playing as Bolivia. It's a 100 map, and I've conquered nearly all of South America. I've done this before any artillery has come out. Full disclosure, I did spend a moderate amount of gold mark. I spent about 1,500 early game to get a cavalry out early. 850 of that, so 1,700. 850 of that was just to finish a balloon fast so that the cavalry would queue up, and then I rushed 12 hours on a barracks. So nothing huge early game. I think that I spent maybe a little bit on morale improvement because I wanted to move some troops somewhere from one location to another, but definitely under 1,000 per day, so definitely under 10,000 gold mark spent to get to this point, which is a very low amount. That's an amount that you can get by watching the ads, which I do suggest you do, specifically for the premium features, because the premium features are really, really helpful. But I got here, so my strategy is I create in my doubles, or in this case, I'm low on food. As you can see, I'm still low on food. So I created a barracks and a workshop in my fish province and my double iron province. And I used that to push north. So I quickly took out an AI. You capture an AI capital as quickly as you can to boost your morale. And then I started picking on players that I thought that would go AI quickly. So I took out Rio de Janeiro, and as you can see, I'm building, I have a double wheat here. I have a harbor here. I'm building a cruiser here. And then I moved north and I took out Venezuela, and I moved south and I took out, I took out Brazil first. I took out Rio most recently. And then Chile declared war on me while I was over here dealing with Rio. So I'm in the middle of a war now and continuing to expand south. What this means is that I have a huge amount of points. As you can see here, I've got 90 points. I'm in the top coalition. This player, I believe, I don't have any evidence that he's spending a lot of gold mark, but he does have really high morale, and he's taken all of Australia. And he built a capital really quickly up here in northern Australia. So without spending a lot, I have conquered a huge amount of territory early on in the game before artillery has even come out. The reason that this is important, so the meta snapshot the thing that I want you to take away is right now, fast conquering in order to produce more troops is the way that you have to do it in order to be competitive. If you're playing, for fun and you're doing role play, like you do whatever you enjoy doing, I think that that's a great way to play. If you are playing intentionally to get first, if you're trying to be competitive, you need to be building barracks and be building cavalry, because barracks and cavalry increase your total troop count, which increases your total power. Your total power you use to conquer provinces that will then generate more infantry. Infantry right now are, I would say, likely the biggest meta unit, the best unit to have, because you have them in bulk. You send them in waves, and the more infantry you have, the more damage you can absorb. The more damage you can absorb, the bigger stacks you can take on. Cavalry are your punching bag, or not punching bag, are your striking force, your strikers, and they will be dealing the damage to the enemy infantry stack. So if you can have more infantry than your enemy, you can win. If you can have more cavalry than your infantry, you'll take more damage if you don't have the infantry support, but the cavalry will beat down on your opponent faster, so you'll have a higher kill ratio to your units lost. How do I think that Bytro can adjust this? I think that it would be wonderful if players could intentionally go into a game to play defensively instead of this aggressive early game, take a lot of stuff, right? I think that it would be great if there are different avenues to play. But in order to do that, I think one change can be made and it will change the entire game. And I probably will get a little bit of heat for saying this. So I understand this may not be a popular opinion. I think that let me just go into a province real quick. I think that the day requirement, you can't build harbors until day 2. You can't build railways until day 5. You can't build factories until day 8. You can't build level 3 factories until day 12, I believe it is. I think they should remove that. And here's why. Building cruisers is still limited to having a harbor, the resources you put into a harbor, and building a factory. Individuals who are going to spam Goldmark are going to do that with cavalry, and this meta is beneficial to them at this point anyways. So there shouldn't be a concern about people having artillery day 1, because if they were going to do that, they're going to have artillery on day 8, right? What this does, though, is it gives individuals a choice. They can say, okay, I can be aggressive early, I can go for an early rush, or, maybe I want to start building harbors on hour 1 and invest in my economy and build a bunch of forts so that I can outproduce any enemies. I will already have cruisers when you're still building cavalry because you're so concerned with building barracks. I'm going to have airplanes. I'm going to go for an airplane rush, right? So I'm going to build, day 1, I'm going to build a factory, and maybe I'll build some artillery just to have some. But then day, let's see, you would have a factory done by day 3. So 3, 4, you'd be building level 2 factory. 5, 6, you'd be building level 3 factory. And then day 7, you'd be building an airport. So I'm going to have bombers by day 10. That is the kind of diverse gameplay that I think would make this really, really interesting, especially because I can't see what kind of buildings they're building over here, right? So I don't know what kind of player beast mode me is. I don't know if he is rushing cavalry. I don't know if he's rushing cruisers. I don't know if he's got bombers. And so it makes intelligence gathering, it makes balloons and other types of intelligence gathering so much more critical. Because, I can probably guess that Flexter is doing a lot of cavalry aggressive expansion. But I don't know, maybe Tassos, 80, he seems to be suffering a little bit, and he's in a war, right? But maybe he is prepping, maybe he's got artillery over there, and it won't be long before this attack by Hejaz is stalled out. Especially since they're AI now, the attack may be stalled out, and he may have a huge force of bombers, given all of the oil he's got over there. Again, I don't anticipate that Bytro is going to follow along with my suggestion. But if they did, can you imagine how much more that would evolve the game? How much that would make people have to think in these 100 games where you don't know what everybody is building. And it would also advance the games for like tournaments. You might have backline people day one start building artillery, so you have a backline and a front line. Frontliners are going to be defending, they're going to be aggressive. Backliners are going to be investing in tech, they're going to be investing in late game units, they're going to be investing in artillery, and they're going to be investing in heavy tanks. Imagine having somebody designated to build heavy tanks from day one. So they are rushing one factory to get a heavy tank as soon as possible. They don't care about anything else. They are selling resources. That it would also impact the market, especially like the stock market. So right now, early game, wheat and food have gone down in value a lot because of the dissolution of the necessity for AI. Some games it has high value, but a lot of games it doesn't. But if you have individuals who are designated frontliners who are pushing, they're going to need that food. But it would also increase the price dramatically of iron and wood. Wood always goes up day two because of harbors. Imagine if wood went up day one because of harbors, because of railroads, because of factories. You could have a traditional build where you build a harbor, then a railroad, then a factory, and be on track for what the regular cadence is. You might also have people who decide to build railroads day one because they want to be able to get all along the map. Again, I don't know that this is going to happen, but I really think that it would help the overall enjoyment because it would make defensive play competitive. And right now, I don't believe that defensive play is competitive. I don't believe that economic play is competitive. I think that aggressive play is incredibly competitive, especially in these larger games, the 100 and 500 player games. Tournament games are a little bit different because you are anticipating cooperation from half the players and aggression from half the players. And so defensive can work a little bit more to your advantage. But I think that it would be really interesting to see this dynamic change of removing the day requirements for buildings, because that is going to increase diversity across nations, and it's going to increase the importance for intelligence, which makes balloons more important. At first, I did not like the nerf to balloons where they couldn't see submarines, but then I got into a game where somebody was using balloons alongside their battleships, and I completely understand why that mechanic was taken away. I like the idea of balloons being a necessity, and I think this is a key way to not touch balloons, but to make them incredibly important for intelligence gathering, for understanding what your enemy's doing. That's all that I have for this one. Again, it's not a game recap. I can tell you what I'm doing on this game, but it really doesn't matter. I am in this game so that I can give you guys a snapshot of what I think is going to be good, what I think is good right now, and what I think would be amazing to see from Bytro in an update in whatever the next big new mechanics is. I would love to see the theory crafting around that, the trying to figure out where the balance is between aggression and building up. And I'm excited to hear your thoughts. Do you have any random off-the-wall ideas of what Bytro can do to update the game that would make it almost completely different, but increase the ability to enjoy the game in different ways? I'd love to hear it. Leave it in the comments. If you have any suggestions for me on things that I could cover, let me know as well. Hit like if you're enjoying this video, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Soli Deo Gloria, and I will see you next time.